Hello and welcome to Between Sets. Thank you very much for joining us today as we travel down to Alliston, Ontario to catch up with their very own Mr. Grant Boyer. Welcome to the show.
How's it going?
It's going great. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you got a wicked little spot here. This is great. So you do lessons and everything down here as well?
Yeah, I do guitar and ukulele and whatever, vocal
Cool.
singing lessons.
Nice.
And, yeah.
So let's get right to it. The single Alarm Bells. It's on steroids, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching it, and you're up there like with Metallica. Who else was on there? Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
You're up there with some big heavy hitters.
Yeah.
You want to explain a little bit more as to how the track got there, and maybe the beginnings of the song itself?
It was just a joke song that I wrote a while back, and it just ended up kind of just exploding, and overnight it felt like, and it still feels like I'm in pretend land.
You must be going through like a total pinch me moment right now.
Yeah, it feels. It doesn't feel real. All the work that we put into it, 'cause seeing it come to fruition has been just a really neat feeling, and I'm so busy with everything, I don't really think about it until times like this when I'm trying to describe it. And you would think that I would have a grasp on how to describe it, but I still do not. It's just neat. I don't know, it's just neat to see all that work just finally get to a point where it's being heard by more people than my mom is just amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you've been getting a lot of support locally from it as well.
Yeah.
Rock 95, we were talking about that earlier, has been giving some rotation on that, and it's getting some great rotation there actually as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, we can't thank them enough for like just the barrage of support, and I mean, just we found out, I think last week or the week before, it was the most requested song on Rock 95.
That's awesome.
All that stuff, like I get a call and they tell me that, and I'm just, it just doesn't feel real.
Yeah,
it just feels just doesn't feel real.
Too good to be true.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And
How did the song actually? How did you come up with the concept of the track?
so usually when I write a song, I never just sit down and I'm going to write a song. I'll be plucking away on the guitar, and I'll just come up with something that sounds kind of cool, and eventually if it sticks in my head if it's there the next day, then I think, there might be something there. And with that little riff, it was there the next day, and so I thought, okay, let's put some words to this. And originally I put some more serious sounding content over the riff, and it just felt kind of silly to have something so just dark lyrics over such a silly sounding riff. So I just kind of scrapped it and just went at it from a whole other idea. And I just, honestly, the line "my head is pounding and I woke up on the floor" came to me, and then it felt like the rest just
Flowed out.
yeah, it just came out. And in the end, it ended up being this, like, on the surface, this really fun party song, like this silly, fun, jokey party song. But then you realize that there are some deeper meanings to it. Like, it's not just a funny joke song. I mean, there's like it's about, everyone struggles with their own issues, and this one's about that, the struggle with drinking and partying, and like, generally it is supposed to be a fun, happy song, but you have to be able to laugh. You have to be able to laugh at the stuff that's not so funny. Mm-hmm. And if you can't laugh, then you got nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
I was watching the video, and from the perception I got of it was when I listened to the song, it was kind of said, you know, one side of the story, but then you watch the video and you can get maybe a misconception how people can take it differently. But you're right, though. I can see how it has some very serious undertones to it that people should get the message out of that. And like you said, it does have a positive message to it.
Like, I think that even just like, oh man, I'm so hungover, like that's funny on the surface, but really, like you're like, it's not fun when it's happening. Again, it's like you kind of have to just ride it out and joke about it.
Yeah.
But really, it's not fun. Like it's not a fun thing, especially if you're struggling to not do that.
Yeah.
On the daily basis, right? It's like I'm never drinking again, and then that's what we say when we're hungover, and then the weekend or someone's having a party or whatever's going on, right?
Yeah,
and
sure enough.
It's so easy to make an excuse to just.
While we're on the topic of the song, why don't we have a listen to it and we'll go from there.
All right.
My heart is pounding and I woke up on the floor. Alarm bells are sounding and my landlord's at the door. Drank all the rent again, drunk, dialed my girlfriend. Now she's not my girlfriend anymore. 'Cause I'm never drinking again. We say it till the weekend. I'll never drink again. We say it till we're drinking. I'm sleeping in. Tomorrow I'm sleeping in. One turns to two, then turns to 9 and 24. Drank enough to kill an army, then we drank some more. Fell off the roof again, so drunk I thought I was Batman. Now my legs, they don't work anymore. Because I'm never drinking again. We say it till the weekend. I'll never drink again. We say it till we're drinking. I'm sleeping in. Tomorrow I'm sleeping in. I'm never drinking again. We say it till the weekend. I'll never drink again. We say it till we're drinking. I'm sleeping in tomorrow. Because I'm never drinking again. We say it till the weekend. I'll never drink again. We say it till we're drinking. I'm sleeping in. Tomorrow I'm sleeping in.
That was awesome. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I want to talk a little bit more on the song, but also pushing down the road. So we talked earlier about, you know, the band gets their first album done, everything's great, it's selling hot, and then it comes around to the second one. It's like, okay, now I gotta push a little bit harder. Do you find yourself in that state yet, that you've kind of accepted where the song is and you see it going, but you're down the road thinking, what am I going to come up with to replace this or push that one?
I think at like right now, it's there. We have so much stuff like waiting to come out that I haven't started worrying about that yet, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to ride this out for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
We do have, like, I'm very excited about the stuff we do have to follow Alarm Bells, and so I'm just kind of focusing on that for now. And then again, like I've never just sat down to write a song. Like, I always just kind of let it come to me. So, and I feel like anytime that I do sit down to try to write something, it's not the same. So,
Do you feel you're pressuring yourself to come up with something?
yeah, it just doesn't feel genuine, or it just doesn't feel, it's not, you seldom will come up with something that you remember the next day. That's kind of the go-to for me. It's like, if I come up with something, I don't record it on my phone, I don't write it down, I let it marinate for a bit. And if I remember that thing the next day, then that's kind of my go-to.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit daunting, like, thinking about if things keep going and if there does become pressure to write more music. I do think about, like, if I'm going to have to push a little more, it is a little bit intimidating, the thought of that. But again, I think the most effective way is to just put that in the back, like, keep it in the back of your mind, but try not to think about it, because I think you'll probably just write garbage if that's too much in the forefront of what you're trying to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm basically in denial
Yeah.
of that for now. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Was music a part of your growing up? Was there always music playing in the Boyer household, or what were you raised on as well?
So my parents both, they don't play instruments, or like, they're not like musical in the sense of actually creating music, but I feel like I was raised in a just hugely musical family. Like, my parents, I grew up with them just blaring music all the time. Like,
What were your folks listening to?
like, when we were young, it was like Fleetwood Mac,
Okay.
Dire Straits, Michael Jackson. Like, I remember my dad came home with Michael Jackson Bad, that CD,
great album.
and it was like, it was just he had bought this CD player. CD players were kind of a new thing at the time, and it was just so blaring Michael Jackson and just all that stuff. Cyndi Lauper.
You were raised in a great era.
That was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And my parents also, they didn't just stay with that. Like, as the 90s approached, my parents were the one, like, they came home with Stone Temple Pilots CDs and, like, I don't know, Collective Soul, and I kind of got them into Nirvana and Green Day eventually.
Okay, yeah, cool.
But I feel like they paved the way for that, like very early on. It was just always listening to music, and from as long as I can remember, I've had a fascination with, like, the electric guitar, and I just always wanted to play electric guitar, and they made me take piano lessons when I was 5. They say, you know, if you want to play guitar, you got to do piano lessons for a year, and I gave up. I hated it, but then years later, on my own, I just, you know what, I think I'm going to try this again. And my mom kind of, I think she, like, overheard me talking about it one day, a kid that had an acoustic guitar at school, and she surprised me with an acoustic guitar for my birthday. I think I was 13, and I just started messing around with that, and then I bought an electric guitar. Like, I sold my dirt bike that I had bought with my own money, and I sold that to buy an electric guitar. And then from there, it was just, I spent just hours every day, just hours pretending to be Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day, just in my bedroom, just smashing power chords, right? And it was just I think it was months, like just a few months, like basically a school year. Like from the beginning in September, I got this guitar, this electric guitar, and by the end of that school year, there was a talent show, and I had a band with some friends, and we were playing a Green Day song in this talent show, and it was just in. From then on, it was always in a band, and always just music was everything, right?
Speaking of bands, you've obviously, we talked about that earlier as well, about bands that you've done in the past, and do you want to talk a little bit about the bands that you have played with? And
Yeah, so like the band that, like when I was in grade 8, that band, the singer of that band became our drummer. He's my best friend Luke, and him and I, just every band we were in, it was him and I, just all different variations of this band, and eventually we were called Entropy, and we played as Entropy for like a decade.
you guys did very well with Entropy.
Yeah, we did. We had a lot of really good stuff. We toured Canada, and we had to change the name because there was actually a band called Entropy, and I searched it on Google, man. They did not exist when I was searching that name, but anyway, so we changed it to Golden Gate Graves, but it was the same band. We played the same music, and we did that for probably like 15 years. Like like I said, we toured. We went out to, we did some recording in LA. We did a demo out there. We opened up for many like big bands. Like one of the first ones was Tea Party. We opened up for Tea Party.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and Big Wreck.
Nice.
And it was when they were both of those bands were like just kind of coming back, and we opened up for them, and it was awesome. And a bunch of bands. We played with USS a bunch of times, and we even played with April Wine one time, and it was a lot of fun. But then we just kind of eventually everybody kind of started wearing out a little bit. Like just, it's tough, right? It's tough when you're playing your own music.
Yeah.
To get the momentum and to keep it, and to just. So eventually we all kind of went our separate ways, and we all still hang out like every week. We're all having barbecues and stuff, but yeah.
Cool.
We hear what we want to hear. We fear what we're told to fear. We see what we want to see. We believe what we're trained to believe. One day you're gonna die. Here are some possessions in the meantime. One day you're gonna die. Pay your bills and taxes in the meantime. In the meantime. They say what we want to hear. They create what we're told to fear. We see what they make us see. We believe what we're trained to believe. So pay your bills and taxes in the meantime. In the meantime. In the meantime. In the meantime.
Do you prefer doing the solo act or the band stuff?
Writing is a lot easier when I'm the boss.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier.
Yeah.
And it's like, not to take away from what you create when you have like before it was there were four of us and everybody's opinion was equally valid, and that was the reason we made the music we did, and the reason it came out that way was directly because of that, and I'll never change that. Like, that was amazing, and we made some of the best music that I've ever been a part of. But man, that was hard. It was hard to write like that, and so moving in this, so now writing this way, if it generally speaking, it's a lot easier, or easy. I don't know, not easier, but it's just there's just less. It is easier. It's like you just kind of. You just don't. There's no one to answer to, right?
Exactly.
And so if you have an idea, then you can see it to fruition. And if someone doesn't like it, you're kind of like, hey man, just trust me and stick with me, and it'll happen.
Yeah.
So,
do you got anything out coming down in the near future down the pipe as far as releases of any videos or songs we can keep an eye out for?
So we have. Another single coming out, I think mid-September.
Okay.
It's called De-Evolution. We're currently working on a video for that one. I'm very much looking forward to that one. That's probably my favorite song to date. And then we have a couple more lined up to follow that one too. So that's also kind of why I'm not that worried about running out of stuff. Like there's so much of it right now that I'm just excited to get it all out there. And we're also going to focus on getting some of the more like B-side stuff that's recorded, stuff we're not going to promote as much as singles. We're going to focus on trying to get a nice chunk of that stuff onto the socials and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that right now you go to the Spotify and there are 3 songs to listen to. So there will be much more in the near future when you click on that.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah.
Nice.
Evolution is here and we don't care. My brain's a phantom limb and you can take me anywhere. Searching for some peace of mind, got turned around. GPS, the bed, and now we're lost and breaking down. The evolution is here and we don't care. Show my face and a phone and you can take me anywhere. The evolution is here and no one cares. Show my face and a straight and you can take me anywhere. The evidence it is clear, we're breaking down. Idiots spreading fear, now logic 6 feet in the ground. The evolution is here and we don't care. Show my face and a phone and you can take me anywhere. The evolution is here and no one cares. Show your face and a straight and we can take you anywhere.
Yeah, I have to ask, because I do ask this on occasion, and I think you're the perfect person to ask this, is that what advice can you give to somebody who's watching this video, a younger musician, artist, guitarist, whatever, who is watching you kind of going through this new stage of life with the success of the song? What advice can you give somebody who's younger, who's just picking up the guitar or struggling to have hope?
Obviously, all of that cliche stuff, it's there for a reason, like the practice. Just practice, practice, practice. Like you can never be too prepared for moments like this, moments like trying to play in front of a camera when the nerves set in. Like you can never be too prepared for that. If you are rehearsing a song in your basement and you're only getting through the song from the beginning to the end 3 times out of 5 times, that song is probably not ready to be performed in front of people, right? Because once you're in front of people, stuff is going to go wrong, and you need to be ready for that. So don't try to play something that you're not 1,000,000% ready to do.
Good advice.
Just practice, and then the other thing that I think that we didn't do as a band that I wish we had have done is like probably equally important is like understanding the industry side of it. And if you don't understand it, you better find someone that does, who is on your team, who can do that.
That's a whole new gamut on itself.
It's all that, especially now, because I think even the people that are already in it, like it's how do you break? What is it, TikTok now? Like, what do you do? How do you break? It's not. I don't think anyone really knows right now.
Yeah, it's tough, because where does it end? You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Grant Boyer. Greatly appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you.
And looking forward to hearing some new material coming down the pipe from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
My head is pounding and I woke up on the floor. Alarm bells are sounding and my landlord's at the door. Drank all the rent again, drunk dialed my girlfriend. Now she's not my girlfriend anymore. 'Cause I'm never drinking again. We say it till the weekend. I'll never drink again. We say it till we're drinking. I'm sleeping in. Tomorrow I'm sleeping in. One turns to 2, then turns to 9, then 24. Drank enough to kill an army, then we drank some more.